Thanks for hearing from my channel. Please like, subscribe and support us if you feel interested. Empowerment Arc Chapter 21. A new movement bordering the Great Jura Forest, was the Count territory of Falma's kingdom. On this frontier existed those willing to protect the area. Their main forces consisted of a knight order under the control of the Count. Although the members usually only consist of 100 people, the Count declared a state of emergency. Those who had retired were recalled, and the numbers were now nearly 3 times larger than usual, with 284 people. The next largest force here was the adventurers from the Freedom Association. They had taken requests to hunt monsters threatening the land in the vicinity. However, this was not an urgent matter. And, naturally, they finished the request without any difficulties. To serve as lookouts around the Count's territory, mercenaries were hired. Although some were talented, many were still just novices. Thus, when the monsters started to move, they all were employed to scout the surroundings. However, in reality, they didn't treat their work seriously. The main cause of which being the fact that Count Nidal Magam had been stingy with money used to employ them. So, who can subdue the monsters if the Free Association didn't take the request? Normally, it was the job of the knights. However, fools. When the knights leave the territory, there is a chance for the cities to be attacked. Who will protect the town? So, the frightened Count did not permit their dispatch. Money was a problem. Moreover, the knights could not move in order to protect the town. Further, complaints came from villages. They complained about damage caused by monsters that neither the adventurers nor Count did anything about. However, the association in this case can't receive a subjugation request due to a single rule. The circumstances involved did not allow it to be so easily accepted. After all, if you're going to hunt for rank B+ monsters, multiple adventurers of the same rank are needed, at least 3 or more people. Even if 10 adventurers with rank B tried to subdue it, even if they were successful, there would surely be casualties. Furthermore, just because a sighting was confirmed, it didn't mean that the subjugation can begin immediately. Normally, there was not many rank B+ adventurers stay at the frontier. The problem was that monsters would appear too frequently. Thus, they were unable to effectively move between requests. They'd receive the request, subdue the target, and then come back. The time involved between each step became a problem. To patrol the village, an organization responsible for subjugation was necessary. In response to these circumstances, reluctantly the Count Nidal Magam set up an organization. He called it Frontier Garrison. Its members consisted of 30 people. Moreover, they mostly consisted of criminals charged with trespassing on private property, disorderly behavior, or small-time violent crimes. So, it's actually a facility for small miscreants. A correctional institution. They were servants of the knights at times, and they served as opponent for the knights' mock battle. Thus, their service was meant to rehabilitate them. They choose a person among them as their captain, or rather, they were forced to choose, and were sent as guards of villages. For Count Nidal Magam, the plan looks appealing because it not only can solve the village's problem. Even if they had died, his wallet wouldn't suffer. It's the extent of his plans that he is doing, but Fumu, sly dog. Well, to gain our freedom, we should accept it graciously. The man named Yumu said. Due to his appearance, originally, he had not wanted to merely end up as a small miscreant. He hoped he can become the boss of the back streets, slums. But it seems the world didn't let this man take the center of stage. Later, the frontier guards led by him showed a remarkable results, and he became the frontier village's savior. Fuse. Belonging to a small kingdom Burmand, he was the Freedom Association Burmand branch guildmaster. His former ability as adventurer was upper rank, A. He was a remarkable adventurer. As he promised to Baron Billiard, he immediately conducted his own investigations. As a result, in response to a report from the information section, it seems there were no movements in the empire. But it didn't mean that the empire wouldn't move later, so he had concluded. Thus in the future, they should continue observing the empire. It's not work that they normally do, but there was no other choice. It's his decision. Then, the news from the investigation team was received. When he entered the room, he slowly sat on the sofa. Their confidential discussion was set to be held in the drawing room. On the sofa facing him, sat 3 people, 2 men and a woman. They were adventurers with a B rank. Excelling in covert operations, Guido. With his job as thief, is a man with excellent information gathering skills. Outstanding in defense Cabal. With his job as heavy warrior, fighter, the role was that of the tank. He enjoyed goofing off, but was polite when working. Specializing on particular magic, Ellen. With job as magic spell user, sorcerer, skilled in diverse magic, but excellent with movement-based magic. Carefully providing support in order to increase the survival rate of the party. They were all noteworthy individuals. They were the team that was ordered to inspect the cave where Veldora was sealed. His first thought was, please come back safely. To begin with, the proper level of that cave was ranked A. Actually, he wanted to do it himself, alone. But, because of his responsibilities as the guildmaster, he cannot move freely. Meanwhile, the other rank, B+, adventurer were not asked to inspect the current situation of Veldora. The reason they were requested was because of their high survival rate and high information gathering capabilities. Rather than during subjugation, if they were sent to collect information while avoiding battle, their abilities surpassed those of other rank, B adventurers. However, if something were to happen to them, it would be his fault. It was an obvious violation, since him as the branch chief himself had ordered them. But, it was absolutely necessary for them to check. That is why, the one who was most pleased with their return was Fuse. Let's hear the report. Fuse never showed emotion in discussion or questioning. He was grateful in his mind, but he didn't express it in words. The trio were familiar with this trait. All I hear is, wasn't it tough? I want to quickly take a bath. It was tough. It was hard to mediate the quarrel between Donna and Nessun. I thought I would be easily trampled to death. That was their typical reaction when reporting their findings. However, their faces were serious. And then they started the report. Battle with monsters in the cave. The Guardian, having deceived the storm snakes, Tempest Snake, senses, they removed the seal on the door and entered. Confirmation of the disappearance of Veldora. Inside the door, they investigate for about a week, but could not confirm the presence of any living thing. And, the most curious detail. And, that, after we concluded the investigation on the inside, the storm snake was nowhere to be found. That's right. Since I can't use any withdrawal-type magic indoors, I spent many hours planning our escape from the storm snake, but it was all pointless. I was just thinking that I'd be able to mix illusion magic and heat manipulation as a decoy. But, no. On a serious note, I worried that although we were able to get here, we won't be able to get out, but… That's what they reported. Heck, what was that thing? That was a monster of rank A. It was the strongest presence inside the cave. Probably, I would not win on my own against that monster. That was precisely why. The probability of success in this mission was greatly reduced. Fuse thought so. Again, what is happening in the land? At the moment, that was not something to think about. So Fuse concluded, well, you guys have a nice break for 3 days. After that, once again, I want you guys to investigate the forest. This time, it is not necessary to enter the cave. I want you guys to investigate the surroundings thoroughly and carefully. So, go. I'll go. See you. What? 3 days. Give me more rest please Tilda. Hey. Anyway, I guess it's useless no matter what I say. Although they said those things, Fuse did not care. It was more important to organize the information they brought. Heck, what was happening in that forest? Fuse was deep in thought when he opened his eyes. His mood changed. He glared at the 3 people. What are you guys doing? Get out. Saying that, he drove off the trio. Sakaguchi Hinata was bored. Assigned to guard the inside of the palace of the Holy Ruberian Kingdom, she was in her private chambers, alone. This world was boring. When she first came to this world, Hinata was still 15 years old. On the day of her first-year high school entrance ceremony, she was on her way home but didn't particularly want to come back. When she passed by the shrine she always stopped by, a strong wind suddenly blew throughout it. The wind forced her eyes shut. Once she opened them, an unfamiliar scenery had spread before her. Hinata rejoiced. Her mother was a religious addict, and now she had been released from it. Her father had long ago disappeared. He lost great sums on horse races, and left them with an enormous debt. Mother fled to religion because she couldn't withstand the beatings from father. After careful planning, Hinata killed her father as to help her mother and receive life insurance money. After a bit more, the insurance money would be paid out. The secret had not been exposed. Thus, her father was treated as a missing person. Thank goodness. Oh well, if you think about it, in this state it seems necessary to commit another murder. To murder the zealot who pushed her mother into religion, and sooner or later, her own mother. Hinata was calmly analyzing the situation. That's why she didn't want to stay at home. In this place, there was no need to kill anymore. She thought so. Oi! There's one here. Oh, a young woman. Good job. Before we sell her, how about we have a taste first? While speaking such words, some men had surrounded Hinata. Ah! Even in this place, there is a need. The world was full of despair. So she thought. The world was full of ugly people, that kind of world, I shall destroy it. I shall take it. I will surely usurp it all. Less than confirmed. Acquiring unique skill, usurper. Success greater than I am righteous. There are no faults in my calculation. There never have been. That will never change. Less than confirmed. Acquiring unique skill, mathematician. Success. Suddenly, my vision became clear. My hazy mind cleared and my mind got sharper. In front of my eyes was someone that wanted to steal from me. I'll steal from them instead. Their life. Thus, a slaughter took place. By the hands of a girl. The time she took to kill the 3 men didn't exceed 5 minutes. The physical abilities of the girl who just got her powers, was still not really high. With cold eyes, she evades the opponent's attack with minimal movement. She grabbed the collar of her opponent, and without hesitation gouged out the opponent's eyes. Hooking her finger in his eye socket, she pulled the legs of the groaning man down and slammed his head on the ground as he fell. She pulled out the knife from the fallen man's waist, and stabbed his throat. Now, one person down. The other men were stunned by the situation. And, without waiting for to put their guards up, she grabbed sand and threw it at them. The sand entered their eyes, causing one man to momentarily go blind. She landed a kick on him. The man fainted. Without a second glance, she went around behind another man, and shoved the knife through his back, into his heart. As intended, it pierced the heart through the gap between the ribs. She pulled out the knife, and gushed blood tainted Hinata. Pleasant warmth of blood. The men, of course, could not comment, being dead. But, there was one who was still alive. Hinata approached the fallen man and squatted down near him. He was terrified, but still alive. Still, there was a possibility that they had more companions. She grabbed his hair and lifted his face up. And used the unique skill, usurper. Memory and techniques. All of it was taken from the remaining wreckage of a man. Hinata glanced at him, and stabbed the knife into his neck. Even though she kills, she knows basic mercy. It was her first murder in this world. From the people she killed from then on, she took their knowledge and techniques. Now, with the techniques as the foundation, she became a strong person in this world. From then, 10 years had passed. Other than that, she didn't remember the people she had killed. Good guys, bad guys, Hinata killed them equally. Because everyone was equal in front of God. Ridiculously, over here she can kill all of them. So, over here, she was no longer a normal girl. Completely remembering the murder. Leader of the imperial guards under the Pope's direct command. She was a beautiful woman that holds the title of Holy Knights leader. That's why, it now became impossible for her to move as she wanted. Please someone, raise a rebellion somewhere. She thought such a thing. And then, someone knocked on her door. Excuse me, His Holiness Cardinal Nicholas Speltas came to visit you. Do you wish to meet him? What should I tell him? Nicholas? Sure, he was attached to me. Let him in. Hinata decided to meet Nicholas. She was going to kill some time with her faithful dog. Hopefully this will kill some time. With a smile of a saint, so she hoped. Author note. The purpose of Adventurer's Rimuru meeting at the cave was investigation. Unique skill, usurper, and mathematician. Its abilities is very similar with the protagonist's skill. Thanks for hearing from my channel. Please like, subscribe and support us if you feel interested.